Hi there, my name is Karen Barnett, and I am an author. I write historical fiction and dual timeline fiction, and I write mostly about our national parks. My new novel just came out at the end of September, and it's called Through Water and Stone, a Zion National Park novel. And I thought I would share something fun from the story. The story has some heavy moments of a couple dealing with grief and the loss of their child that happens before the story opens. Don't worry, there's none of that in the story itself. But as Alma, my main character in the historical timeline, is dealing with her grief, she ends up taking in an infant and singing him to sleep in one of the very early scenes. And one of the songs that she sings him is a hymn called God Leads Us Along. And it was written in, I think it was 1903 by a hymn writer named George A. Young. And he wrote this after a house that he had built. He was a carpenter and a minister and a hymn writer. He had built his family a home, and they had gone off to a church meeting. And while they were gone, while they were away, someone came and burned their house to the ground. And it was this loss, going through this loss, that caused him to write the hymn, God Leads Us Along, or God Leads His Dear Children Along. Many years later, so that was 1903, many years later in the 1940s, another hymn writer fell in love with the song and decided to couldn't track down the hymn writer because he had already passed, but his widow was still alive. And he found her in a poorhouse, of all places. Many of you know stories about hymn writers. They didn't typically make a lot of money during their lifetime. So his widow was in the poorhouse. And when this man asked her how she ended up here, why she was there, she said God led her there. That she, through ending up in the poorhouse, she had been able to minister to so many souls, because she said many people didn't live very long after they ended up in the poorhouse. And she was able to tell them about Jesus. And she had led so many people to Christ because she was living there with them. So she said that God led her to the poorhouse. And I feel like that is such a powerful message, that even in the midst of our trauma, in the midst of grief, in the midst of whatever's going in our life, God is still leading us along, and He is walking with us. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to include it in the story of Through Water and Stone, because Alma is walking through grief, and she is learning the story. She hasn't learned it at the point where she sings this, but through the course of the story, she's learning how God is walking along with her through her grief. So I'd like to sing the song for you. I am musical. I do sing and play guitar, but I don't often record myself, so this feels very strange to me. So hopefully I'll do okay, and you'll enjoy this. The song is God Leads Us Along, sometimes written as God Leads His Dear Children Along. And I'm a little nervous, so excuse me if my voice shakes. In shady green pastures, so rich and so sweet, God leads His dear children along. Where the water's cool flow bathes the weary one's feet, God leads His dear children along. Some through the waters, some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through the blood. Some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. Sometimes on the mount where the sun shines so bright, God leads His dear children along. And sometimes in the valley, in the darkest of night, God leads His dear children along. Some through the waters, some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through his blood. Some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. Though sorrows befall us and Satan oppose, God leads his dear children along. Through grace we can conquer, defeat all our foes. God leads his dear children along. Some through the waters, some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through the blood. Some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. In the night season and all the day long. I hope you enjoyed that. I know a lot of people are walking through a season of grief right now, and I hope that song speaks to you. It sure does to me. Thank you. Bye.